See where I
It
put it.
can go on our clip account.
No. We're leaving it out. We're leaving it out. Nate, I swear to God.
I'm putting this part in though. Yes, no, yes.
No.
Here,
We'll
I
start
say,
when we get a 3, 2, 1. Dude, I joined the call asking if it was rolling, and you said no.
And I said no, and then I started it.
Well, he wanted to get you. Wanted to make sure you felt
he
comfortable.
did this last time too, Dimitri, and he just started recording without telling me or Will. Like,
I knew he was
Dude,
recording.
okay, Nate.
What?
Nate,
You
I'm
knew
not.
he was
I'm
recording?
not
I
trying to
didn't
get
know
all
he was
legal on you. It is my
No,
day
you-
job, but I'm not trying to get all
you're
legal on
good.
you.
You're good. You're good.
You're committing a state crime right now.
Oh no.
Hey, watch it, Nate. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Dub Takes. This is episode dose in our great series of the 2025 videos. We got our usual boys, myself, Will, and Nate, and a very, very special host, all close and dear to our hearts, Dimitri, Papa George, our favorite quarterback on our Sunday Football League, and we're going to get into some very, very interesting topics today. Very interesting topics. Welcome, Dimitri.
Hell yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
And yeah, Nate, I'm just gonna say it. I love the shirt. You're rocking it.
Hey, thanks.
And you know, Willem, I sense a kind bar endorsement in our future.
I do too. You know, just finished off my 7Gs of teen right here, peanut butter flavor. One of the top 2 best. I'm a dark chocolate sea salt man myself, but that 1 gram of extra protein hits different. Can't go.
Kind bar, sponsor me, baby. Kind bar, sponsor me. Okay.
If we're throwing out sponsorships, this is my request.
Yep.
Coke Zero action.
Yep.
Always got one locked and loaded. Always.
Have you tried they have strawberry cream Coke Zero?
I've been going for the orange cream as of
Let me
late.
get my sponsor.
The orange cream Coke Zero has been fire. Yeah. Nothing bad to say about the taste of Coke products.
That is true.
Well, Nate, shall we dive in?
That's all you, man. That's all you.
We shall. So, guys, obviously, you know, the official tampering period of free agency has begun, and we have already had some very, 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 very tasty stuff go down. And
Canva account.
oh yeah, come on, share me. You guys can still see this?
Yep.
First thing I saw, Devontae Adams going to the Rams. What's our opinions?
You know,
Sorry, pardon me. I kind of like this move. Forgive me. It's a 1-year deal, correct?
1 year 14.
Let me check.
1 year 14.
I believe it's a 1-year deal. And, you know, I like that Stafford stayed in LA. I think that he has a good thing going with Sean McVay. I really think that they worked together to get a deal out. They didn't want to hold out on each other.
2 years.
It's a 2-year deal? Okay, so forgive
2
me.
years.
I think that you know, with the absence of Cooper Kupp leaving, you know, he's done amazing things for that organization. That horrible 2021 Super Bowl with that amazing last drive, you know, love to hate it, hate to love it.
Eli Apple.
And I really think that, you know, with him moving on we'll figure out shortly. Devontae is a great pickup for the organization and will do big things with you know, I know he loves his Rodgers, his little Pookie, but I do think that
He can be Jimmy's backup.
Stafford will get it done, and
Rodgers can be third string man. Rodgers can be third string on the team.
What's his name? Stetson Bennett.
Georgia QB.
They drafted him 2 years ago now, and he's been riding bench. I know he had like rehab issues. I don't know if he's still in the
28
league.
now, I think. Almost.
Yeah.
He was
Well,
20.
Jimmy's 30-something. Stafford's 30-something. At some point, they're going to need a young quarterback, so Rodgers is not it, right? There's no way.
No. I just thought it would be really funny as him as a backup.
It'd be funny, yeah, but
him all perked out on the sidelines.
well, that's Stetson Bennett.
Well, I guess then him and Stenson would have a lot in common. Papa, you were trying to say something?
Yeah, you know, I feel like this deal would have been great like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not seeing, you know, a lot right now in terms of the potential landing areas or landing spots he could have gone to. This was not on my list. I was thinking the Packers would be pretty cool, especially with Dobbs, having multiple head injuries. Christian Watson torn ACL. They've got a big question mark at the wide receiver position right now. I was also thinking Steelers because last year the Steelers were in hot pursuit
Yes,
of
we were.
Ayuk, and I felt like they were looking for kind of a wide receiver one, especially with like providing a veteran like Devontae Adams next to a youngster like George Pickens. I feel like that would have been great. And then a team that really is, I think, a Super Bowl contender this upcoming year. I was thinking maybe Washington Commanders. Alongside Debo. Debo short routes, Adams mid range, and then over the top to McLaurin. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts on that.
Those are interesting takes. They also brought back Tutu Atwell on a 1-year, $10 million contract. I think 6 or 7 of it was guaranteed. Solid moves. Does this guarantee the Rams the division next year after also the just lack of moves and the losing of talent that the Niners have gone through? Or are the Cardinals still up there?
Cardinals signed Josh Sweat, but other than that, I don't think they've done anything else. Rams just re-signed their tackle, Alaric Jackson, and then just signed Poona Ford from the Chargers. Poona's great. He's old, but he's good.
Yeah.
Signing Jimmy as your backup QB. He's a starter if he really needs to be. I think it's fair to say.
Okay.
I find it interesting. Okay. So it says Devontae Adams signed off on Raiders benching Jimmy G. That happened?
Yeah, yeah, last season.
That's not a strong endorsement. Hopefully Stafford doesn't get injured.
I mean, I know the media tabloids will be all over this, saying like, oh, there's this hate thing going on. I don't think so. I think Devontae, I think I said it in the last episode, but there's some effort issues with him where he likes to give up when, things aren't going his way. And with Josh McDaniel at coach for the Raiders, it was just diabolical on every side of the ball. And if he's a better man, he should know that it wasn't Jimmy's fault.
Yeah.
In terms of the division, though, I feel like it's still pretty early in free agency, and there's a lot of pieces still have to fall into place. So this might be Niners fan coping, but I feel like we still got a fair shake, and I have faith in John Lynch and the rest of the org to get things together.
Losing Juszczyk, Greenlaw, Hufanga, Ward, and all in one day is pretty brutal, though.
Yeah. No, I definitely partook in some day drinking for that
one. Well, I guess to finish up the side, what do you think Sean McVay and Wes Snead have planned for the draft? Because, dude, they can cook, and they play the draft and free agency so well, and it's so upsetting.
They're going to go after corner safety.
Yeah,
probably.
Dude.
Corner safety or linebacker. But this isn't a very good linebacker draft for interior guys, at least for me, except for the Campbell out of Alabama, or I forgot to say his name. Probably one of those, if not O-line, but this is also a weaker O-line draft, so I could see them getting corner.
You mean Jihad Campbell?
Yeah, Jihad Campbell, bro. That guy's an animal.
Yeah, he's nice.
That's the animal, bro. And he's also a really good interior blitzer, too.
What about a little, LSU tight end Mason Taylor?
Mason Taylor, I drafted him in Madden earlier this year, and he was quite the G. He did really good in the combine, no?
Yeah. And Will, as a resident Ducks fan, what do you think of like a Derek Harmon pickup?
I think Derek Harmon was one of the best players on the Oregon Ducks last year. I think he'd be a benefit to any team that he goes to, knowing how Sean McVay prioritizes that offensive line. I really think that it would be dangerous to say the least.
Yeah, Harmon's a beast, bro. Harmon's a beast. Okay, I say we're going to move on into our next, which is Niners. Luke Farrell. Who is our one signing, and we give him $21 million?
And Kevin Givens as of like maybe 40 minutes of recording this.
Wow.
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
moves. Great
yeah,
moves. A lot of
yeah.
question marks. This team has what I thought this was going to be. Definitely, there was at least going to be one or two guys going.
Yeah.
A lot more. A lot
Yeah.
more.
Lot. I
Half
don't know.
like
You
what is
know,
going on?
I'm bummed about who we've lost, but I saw some even though we only had 6 wins, I saw some promising things. I'm liking Ricky Pearsall. I think he's going to be a stud. I'm liking Juwan Jennings. You know, he fell in his draft class just because he's a bit of a hothead. But like, hey, dude can ball. And you know, provided that Purdy's healthy, we got a healthy McCaffrey, hopefully. You know, we'll see about guys like Jordan Mason, but even Isaiah Garendo, he was great. Coming off the, you know, third string back. So I don't know. And we got, you know, our friend George over there in the corner. So, you know, I'm still liking I don't think they're gonna be Super Bowl contenders by any means. They're definitely worse than they were a couple years ago. But I think we still have like some of the key pieces that we need in order to have like a playoff run.
I will say that Hufunga's leaving was definitely also, I think, showing how like pretty good Malik Mustafa looked in his rookie year at safety. And really, other than getting trucked by Mahomes in that Chiefs game, which was very grim, he played a pretty solid rookie year and showed a lot. That guy's also just one of the most jacked individuals I've ever seen. And
Yeah.
yeah, like the team, like it's really hard to see a lot of these guys go.
Right.
Me and Nate were talking about this previous. Juszczyk was making way too much money. Ward, I will speak on that no more. Just, you know, it seems like there was just a lot of excuses in Oslo before certain personal events happened to him, but then he goes to the Indianapolis Colts for some reason. Hufanga and Greenlaw both going to the Broncos is just very brutal, though. That kind of hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts
Well,
quite a bit.
Speaking of jacked individuals, though, I need Bosa to step it up.
Yeah.
Like he was a little rough last year, and I know he's getting like double teamed oftentimes, but you know, if you're watching the games, it just seems like some plays he's not even gunning for the quarterback. Like it's just
No,
he's just
no.
you know taking a break mid game. It's like, you know, I'd like to see, you know, some more rotations if he really needs a breather. You know, take him off for a couple plays. But there are times where I was at the game against Seattle at home, and there were times where like ball gets snapped and he just stands up and doesn't even like approach the offensive line. Like he's just chilling. So I don't know. I don't know what happened to that this year, but I'm hoping he gets back on track.
Something that it makes me think of, just in general, is like when thinking about SF compared with the Rams. Like the Rams have always been, you know, stricter about their contracts and stricter about how they're giving their money out, and they don't, you know, as opposed to SF where they'll kind of let you you know, eat dessert before dinner, right? You get your money, you get paid before you play. And I heard, and you know, it kind of seems like they're stepping it up a little bit, kind of copying that stricter Rams contract kind of mentality, and I think it'll work for them. So I think as maybe down in the dumps you guys feel right now, one door closes, another door opens, and I think that this is maybe a needed breath of fresh air for the management style.
I see your point. I just think this invites more problems because the gaps that we needed to fill in free agency the past couple of years are now coming up to us, and now we're going to have to fill those gaps in the draft when the draft should be supporting those gaps that we filled already. So, yeah, like you said, it's dessert before dinner, and that's on us, man. Like we gave everybody so much stuff, and now they're gone. They're just gone. And you know we're gonna put a rookie in their starting position now. Like, dude, I see us drafting a linebacker super high up just because we can't find one. unless we turn Joey Bosa into an outside linebacker like he did on the Chargers, which would just be you can't do that. Like,
I don't know. I don't see him playing outside linebacker. I see him having exactly Bosa's role on the other side.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Unless you make we're not going to get an inside linebacker or an outside linebacker in this free agency. There's no one that wants to come here that can't go to Washington or the Rams or any other NFC team right now.
There's definitely some interesting, honestly, some Greenlaw-esque guys, that kind of undersized linebacker that honestly just plays the field very well. Like, in the mid rounds of this draft, that could definitely be a chance.
But my point is that we shouldn't be wasting draft picks on starters. We should be getting depth guys that can then become starters when these starters leave because of old age and large contracts.
Well,
but we don't do that.
That's how rebuild works, and sadly enough, after looking at this free agency, it's got to be at least a rebuild for probably this next year.
It will be, yeah. The
At
year
least all
the
these
stadium,
guys.
not the stadium, the Super Bowl's in the stadium.
Yeah, which is
Like-
sucks, and I'm sorry you have to go to that game.
Yeah,
But all these
so
guys,
fun.
I'm not. You're going to the game.
yeah. Jalen
I'll sell my ticket.
also I
Hit
think
me up.
more the right tackle. Right tackle also played left tackle that filled in for Trent last year.
Yeah.
Bag, pardon my cuss word, just got overpaid more than I think I've ever seen an offensive tackle ever before by the Chiefs, getting $80 million for 4 years, really proving nothing. And that's kind of what I saw with Hufanga too. Hufanga did have a great year 2 years ago now. Has missed 17 games in the past 3 years. A lot of injury concerns. Greenlaw, same thing, man. Coming off a brutal injury. Played good at times after returning. Wasn't the same. Travarius Ward, same thing. Was off all last year. Didn't really make that many big plays. This is very sad to say since I'm a big fullback guy. Use check's just not necessary anymore, and that money can be spent other places. And same thing with Dobbs. It's unfortunate, but they'll find a guy. The Niners always find a guy in the late rounds. It'll work out.
Yeah, I mean, both those guys were just super expensive. Like Hufanga, his deal was $45 million with $20 million guaranteed. Greenlaw's was $35 million. Like that's a lot of cash to be thrown at players that I think their best years are behind them, and they weren't exactly healthy, as you said. But it'll be interesting to see like who steps up into those roles because, as Nate said, I don't know. We're just not the market people want to come to. Like it's all about the Commanders now, and it's all about the Rams now, and
the Bengals.
No, you
Sure,
Will.
sure.
Will, I was going to do a quick segment on the Bengals move so far. I thought you guys have been playing free agency very badly so far. You guys brought back some very questionable guys on the defensive ends.
But at least they're signing people.
No. They're just re-signing.
I know, that's what I mean.
Niners
Niners signed Patrick Taylor and I'm blanking, but it doesn't matter. It's like
running back.
Yeah. Yes.
But he wasn't on. He was on the team though, right?
He was. He played one game.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. We do have 11 picks this next year, so that doesn't necessarily. Huh?
Big year.
Big year? What?
Yeah, but if we miss on those, that's the 11 players we missed on.
That's why, there's still a chance for a trade. Also, anything's possible.
For who though, and for what?
I don't know, bro. Imagine Jalen Ramsey just becoming that next Richard Sherman for the Niners.
I'll pass on Ramsey.
Oh.
He sells hard.
Better.
Eli Apple.
Yeah,
Eli Apple also sells hard. Is Javon Holland anywhere right now? Did he go back to the Dolphins? I swear,
I have no clue.
I think he did.
Really? I swear.
I could be wrong. Something else that is just food for thought. Seahawks right now have a good amount of cap. I think 5th most, could be wrong.
A lot of picks now too.
But they have a lot of picks, and they also have the smallest current roster in the NFL. So they have the least rostered players. So they're doing some big stuff up there. It is truly Mac McDonald's team. I think that they are really looking to. They did just sign Sam Darnold. He's consistent-ish. I don't think they're trying to build around him long term, but no surprises with him. He's consistent enough. I think really he's going to prioritize that. They have no receivers outside of JSN, who's a dog, but they need to get some receivers. But I really think Mac McDonald's kind of looking at, the Eagles, looking at Sean McVay and the Rams, and he's really going to try to prioritize that defensive line and the overall defense for the team. Top 5 defense, win championships, and it's a new era up there in Seattle. So I'm excited to see what he does up there.
Javon Holland is still a free agent.
He's still a free agent. Yeah.
Okay.
Free agent. So that would be a really interesting nab for the Niners if they could get him for a reasonable contract. Since he's a younger guy, a younger guy that could honestly be a really big splash play. We'll see what happens, though. I don't have anything more to say on this.
In terms of Seattle, I think, they're going to go after probably a D-line, defensive tackle. Right now, they've got the 18th pick?
Something like that, yeah.
That seems right. Yeah, right around there.
I'm thinking they're going with,
I think
Michigan star Kenneth Grant.
Yep, right here with you. 100% agree. That guy's an animal.
Dude, 6'4", 330, man.
Can run a
Dude's a beast.
4'9".
Yeah.
Bro, what?
Yeah, dude is.
He's like Jordan Davis if Jordan Davis was good. Like, I'm sorry to hate on Jordan Davis, but he's good. He plays the run so good. Honestly, Harmon would be really interesting to them. Harmon's a guy that honestly I could see any team using a Derek Harmon. He's just like who's the Rams defensive end? He's really, really good. He's the larger guy. Defensive talent.
Young?
Huh?
Young?
No. Since they have Young at outside, yes. Then they have the guy they drafted out of Florida State last year, Verse.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy up the middle? They just re-signed him to a contract too. I'll look it up, but reminds me a lot of that same type of player. Harmon is just. He had one of the highest win rates last year in pass rush snaps. He didn't play the run as well as he did 2 years ago with Oregon, but that's because he dropped a bunch of weight for this year to honestly get better, and he looked amazing. Like this draft class was supposed to be not very good, and I'd say outside of quarterback, this class looks pretty solid, man. This class looks pretty solid. I feel like we say that every year.
You were talking about Fisk, yeah?
Yeah. No. Kobe Turner.
Kobe Turner.
My bad. Off the dome. Those are the future of the NFL. You need a speed rush guy. Since those guys can disrupt the middle. You look at the Eagles, who obviously just won the Super Bowl. Jalen Carter was given that Chiefs O-line problems that entire game. And causing pressure, you push up the middle, you make it a lot easier for those outside rushers. Like, that's why Cam Hayward is still amazing. But I say, should we move on to the big signings?
We shall.
The big signings, big moves. Well, a lot of quarterbacks on the move. I'm just going to say it. One of these guys should be a starter. And that's Geno Smith.
Damn straight. Well, I honestly think that, starting in Seattle, right? I think last year, everyone in Seattle, they were trying to get deals done. Seattle typically doesn't do deals until the final year of people's contracts. I think that really Geno probably last year was trying to get a deal done. DK's like, hey, give me this money. Obviously, that didn't happen. But people are getting signed. People are getting their money. And
he got that money. He just got it from a different team.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that, but I think last year he probably asked for some, and they were like, honestly, well, when it comes down to it, like he's not worth Dak money, and that probably hurt his feelings a little bit. So then he's out there and he decides to follow Pete Carroll to the Raiders when Pete Carroll's loving him up and decides to give him a little pay bump. And I mean, I don't hate the move.
It's just crazy though that they gave Sam Darnold the same amount of money.
Well,
I think Sam Darnold's better than Geno Smith.
oh, that's a hot take. But
I agree.
that's
No, I'm
a
with Will.
dub
I'm with Will. I'm with Will.
dub take.
That's
Dub take.
that is 1 year of Sam Darnold being on an amazing team.
I've never seen Geno Smith play that well.
Oh, that's crazy. It's Geno Smith 2 years ago now, and at points last year.
2 years ago.
Yeah, this is 2 seasons ago.
I watched
Okay,
Geno Smith
where
last
was
year
Sam
trip
Darnold
and
2
fall
seasons
over.
ago?
He snapped the ball,
Where
tripped
was-
and fell
Where
over.
was Sam Darnold 2 seasons ago, Nate?
I don't know.
A
Panthers.
backup on the Niners, and before that, a backup.
Is that
on
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, starter for Vikings, backup on the Niners. Yeah,
This is one. You look at Sam
but
Darnold.
look what he did a year ago. If we're going to use that logic, he led a team to the playoffs.
Yeah. Geno Smith
Dude.
did almost the same thing too.
Geno
He didn't
Smith.
though.
2
Do
years.
you guys know the contract he turned down with the Seahawks?
No.
Reports are saying 2-year, 40 to 45 mil.
That's what I'm saying. His feelings got hurt, bro. Like he was not trying to sign.
40 million a year or
But
40
per
million
year,
overall.
per year, that's similar to Stafford.
Yeah, he was offered Stafford money and he wanted Dak money, and they said no, you're not worth that.
Yeah,
like-
I don't know. I mean, if I'm ever in a
Hey,
position
bum
to
of
take
the
40
week.
to 45 million, I don't care
Well-
that it's Seattle. I'm taking it.
Even after Carroll left, after kind of reviving Geno's career, they went and traded for Sam Howell. So clearly they see something in Sam Howell.
Howell
No,
is
they
worse
don't.
than Geno.
He's-
I'll tell you that much.
Well, yeah, but
Sam
they see
Howell's
something in
awful.
him and think he can be their QB. He was
is
what?
a-
Was he a third round pick? Fourth round?
Yes, 3rd round pick. They see a backup in him.
You know,
because
But they don't though, because then why would they put Darnold on a 1 year?
Darnold's on a 3-year
Darnold's on a-
contract.
he's on a
3 year. Sorry,
two,
that's
three.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying is I honestly, Darnold, he's a northern boy up there in Minnesota, and I see it's a lateral move to Seattle, but something about that northern air, like it's in him, and I truly
Oh
think
my
that this.
God.
I don't know, like there are big question marks in Seattle right now, but I really think that this could be surprisingly good. Like Seattle's going to be an underrated team going into this season.
I don't think I've ever seen a worse quarterback in the NFL that started more than 2 seasons than Sam Darnold on the Jets. And yes, they were awful teams, but bro, literally said he was seeing
wait.
ghosts.
Just
mid-game.
wait,
Like,
big
I will
things
wait.
coming in Seattle.
I will wait.
Moving on to a different quarterback on this little image. I know what you said earlier, Jordan. Justin Fields is a starter.
No, he's not.
He's a
He's
starter.
on the Jets now.
He's a starter.
He's going to be a starter, yes.
You know how much I hate him, and he's a starter.
He is okay. I will, as a Steelers fan that wanted them to keep Fields, I have honestly become so okay. Like I wasn't even mad with him leaving, simply because yes, we started 4-2 last year, and yes, he started 10-1 interception to touchdowns to interceptions. Dude had 4 fumbles in those 6 starts, and was one of the highest rates in NFL history of rolling out into pressure. Bro, frequently, I'm remembering the Indianapolis Colts game specifically, where dude rolls out of the pocket straight into a defensive end 3 times that game and blows the game.
I hear you, but that's something that just comes with reps. Like,
And
that's
it
something
doesn't.
that can
Yeah.
be practiced out of you.
And it doesn't matter if you win.
Like it's
You have
that.
to win
They
Yeah,
lost that game. He lost us that game.
it's that
one game.
and field vision can be
Field vision.
field vision. I like it. Can be trained through practice. Like something
does-
like, he's got what you need to be a good quarterback.
He's got
He's
great
now
tools.
getting Stafford money.
Not Stafford. He's only getting $20 million a year.
I think that's a fair price given the circumstances.
I think it's pretty cool. I will say it is cool that he gets to play with Garrett Wilson again. They were pretty good together at the Ohio State, national championships, the beaters of Oregon this year. A very super team, and he honestly, I still have hope for him. He was given a chance this past year, and only because the Steelers put up the 6 best weeks of defensive football I've seen in a long time for them, barely allowing over 10 points per game. Those were the reasons he won those games. He did not wow me whatsoever, and I think this Jets team is a whole lot worse than that Steelers offense. And if he proves me wrong, I'm really happy for him. It's the same way with the rest of these guys. They're all just kind of disappointments. This is a list of all disappointments. These are all journeyman quarterbacks now. These are all draft busts.
I'm liking some of the options he has in New York, though. Lazard, I think that'll be a nice
maybe
guy.
Lazard.
Lazard's getting released, I heard.
He wanted to trade.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Debo wanted to trade 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, Lazard also just he's okay. Yeah, he's okay.
He
Conklin,
wants to be with Rodgers.
Conklin, I think
I don't
he's set.
know.
Conklin's
Is
solid.
Conklin still on the team?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Conklin's
So,
solid. Their
no,
O-line
he's not.
is-
He's a free agent.
Oh, their
Yeah.
O-line is pitiful though. Their O-line is pitiful.
Yeah.
Well, they lost a guard.
They
to
still
free
got,
agency.
Tyron
They still have
Smith
Brees Hall, though.
also pitiful. One of the
Brees
biggest
Hall with
ball-
Braylon Allen as a committee. They
committee.
did pretty well.
If he was the guy, he'd be the number one.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a committee.
Yeah.
I know, but Braylon Allen stepped up in a big way.
Braylon Allen did step up
For
for
like 3
injuries.
weeks.
Yes, I agree.
Like 3
But
weeks,
And then
yeah.
I think Malik Taylor is a free agent too.
mhm.
Dude, yeah, like that Jets team is gutted, bro. They're gutted.
Yeah, looking like the Niners out here.
They're worse.
at
Sauce
least they
Gardner's-
sign people. At least they sign people.
Yeah, it must be nice.
But
Yeah.
I will say Sam Darnold, like any quarterback that wins 14 games in a season, is a guy that definitely deserves a shot on another team. But it's very hard for me to ignore the woes of Sam Darnold.
He needs a strong supporting cast, and
He needs an extremely strong supporting cast, and he had arguably the best supporting cast offensively at the start of last year in the NFL. Offensive line was crazy at the start of last season for the Vikes. They had arguably the 2 best tackles in football, arguably the best player in football in Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison is arguably the 2nd best receiver for a number 2. He's one of the best number 2s in the league. Dude, Hawkinson's nice. Aaron Jones. Ty
Addison.
Chandler was doing things.
He said Addison.
Oh, he said Addison. My bad.
Yeah. Like, very, very, very stacked team. Completely fell apart at the end of the season. And completely
Hawkinson
fell
didn't
apart.
play half the season though.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Typical Connor draft.
But the other guys on this list are so nothing to me. Dorian Thompson-Robinson has 1 touchdown to 7 interceptions. Kenny Pickett is the bane of my existence and will always be that for me as a Steelers fan. And Zach Wilson is better at chasing down Cougars than playing football. Like
If you got game, you got game.
you got game, you got game. Like,
Let me ask you a question.
do you know that Zach Wilson story though? Do you know that well?
Yeah. Would you rather have Geno, Sam, or Drew Lock starting for you as your quarterback? Geno. Over
Geno-
Nate, do you agree?
Gino can move. I'd say
Darnold.
You'd have to. I think I agree with you. Both of these are over Drew Lock.
yes.
Do you mean Drew Lock or Zach Wilson?
I mean Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. Oh, he's not even on a
Lock.
team yet.
No.
Yeah. Sam Darnold.
For a reason, bro.
I'm starting to sweat a little bit for Kirk Cousins because their
He's a
door's
Falcon.
closing, man. Like the
He's-
Fields deal, the
Cousins is staying on the Falcons, which I think is
Yeah,
crazy.
he has $1 gazillion guaranteed. He'll be okay.
I think that makes sense. I mean, he's just such an expensive player now for the caliber of play that you are
They
you're
can
gonna be
cut
getting.
him.
It's just
They'll
up in
cut
the
him.
air.
They'll cut him after this next year. That's when
Yeah.
the guaranteed money's done.
Yeah.
He's the worst Matt Ryan.
Well, the only thing is like, okay, Darnold is turning 28.
Yeah.
Geno's turning 35.
Yeah.
Cousins has both of them beat. He's turning 37.
He
Oh,
sucks.
boy.
Michael Penix has fully taken his starting job too.
Yeah.
There's not a team in the NFL that's going to trade for that contract. The Falcons did screw themselves on that, since they honestly had the chance. That NFC South division is arguably the worst division in football.
Yeah.
And they had a wide open window, a great team, I'd say, except for the defense. Just has a lot of question marks.
Mhm.
And they just blew it. They should have played Penix all year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough.
Like, I don't know if anybody else has anything to say about the other three guys.
Move on.
I expect Zach Wilson to be starting at some point for the Dolphins. That's
Oh
all.
yeah, I do too.
Tua keeps leading with his head.
Okay,
I
Jordan
also-
Not that. I think Tua just falls off.
I expect the same thing for Kenny.
falls down because of CTE.
Kenny
Uh,
Pickett can play a game
What
against
about, you know, some rumors I've been hearing from my boy Woj. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I don't have
Adrian
an inside.
Wojnarowski.
Yeah.
Of course,
Headline.
you're,
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
good
coming out
guy.
of retirement. He only talks to
guys.
me.
Actually, he's calling me.
Yeah, but Rodgers, you know, could he be a Steeler? They sticking to their
could.
guns with Russell?
I would personally take Russ over Rodgers. Personal. I think Russ is a better leader of men. I think
And I
that's
think
what it
he's a
comes down
cooler
to.
dude.
He's just both of them are douchebags. Like
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
well,
but-
like Rodgers is the Kyrie of the NFL, but he doesn't pull it off as well.
The first thing that it comes to my mind is literally, I think last year Rodgers' pass to Garrett Wilson, which was underthrown. Garrett Wilson misses it, and I think it cost him the game. And Rodgers just like full on blames him at the press conference, and like that is not someone you want throwing you the ball. Like that's not someone you want to be a team leader. And Russ has the benefit of having been there already for a whole year. Pickens likes him. Like,
and DK. I think
And-
DK signing honestly is the point where I'm like, okay, I think
There-
Russell.
I'm thinking there must be lead in the water at Lambeau Field. Like Rodgers went crazy, Brett Favre went crazy.
Brett
Something's up.
Brett Favre is also just one of the worst humans ever.
It's got to be a case study. Like,
Like-
I know we got some psych majors in the call.
When
This is capstone.
Jordan
This-
Love is going to have a fantastic, like, this is just going to be a prediction. I feel like the Packers are going to get like a receiver out of nowhere that's going to be a no name coming out of the draft. Then Jordan Love is just going to have like 3 amazing years back to back to back, and then lose his mind again, and then the cycle repeats. Like, they'll go for 1 Super Bowl, and then the cycle repeats, and he'll be like 35 at that
I like the
point.
call. I like the call.
And
Well, I think they're gonna get Luther Burden III.
who is also the boy out of Missouri, bro. He is so nice, bro.
Yeah,
Honestly, he is Debo Samuel if Debo Samuel could run routes and catch. That's my Luther Burden. That's my Luther Burden catch.
Crazy
He is
behavior.
insane after the catch. Insane. One of the best yards after catch I've ever seen
Yak,
for a receiver.
big yak guy.
The yak. The yak.
I
Like,
mean,
the dude-
didn't he have like a 4.4?
I think so.
Quick
Yeah.
dude.
quick too. Not the largest dude, 6'1", I think, like 214.
Too soon, yeah.
But you know, he could be like a Lockett. You know,
Oh, he's bigger than
just a
Lockett.
little guy,
He's like, that's not
little
bad.
Julian Edelman action.
Definitely, I could see that. Edelman was nice after the catch.
Oh, dude, he was nice before the catch, dude. I love some of those flea flickers back there.
Mm-hmm.
The high school QB stepping up.
High school QB.
Yeah.
Well, I see that we've carried over into the kind of big move, so I think we should move to our next slide, which is the offensive trades. Also.
Or offensive traits, depending how
Or
you look at
offensive
them.
traits.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
not very offended by the Debo one, to be honest. I think we could have gotten more than a 5th rounder.
It's
think
because they
the-
took the contract. It's still the contract.
I think the
Yeah,
Larry
just
Tunsil one
dump
is
it.
crazy.
Just dump it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this
Lumberjack.
deal should have been done a year ago.
Yeah. Gotten a second rounder out of him too.
Yeah, I think this past season was just absolutely tragic. Watching him, and that being said, we still got 6 wins. So, you know, I think you know, the floor with Purdy is pretty high, but you know, I would have liked to see this deal done sooner. And honestly, I'm glad we got a 5th rounder. I would have traded him for a stale bag of chips.
Yeah.
But yeah, good to rip the
Commanders-
Band-Aid off.
Commanders are making moves, bro. Like, they're spending money, whether I agree with that money being spent or not. Bringing Laremy Tunsil is pretty insane, too.
It's pretty crazy.
The Texans obviously just do not care for C.J. Stroud, and I am
Yeah.
very, very afraid that C.J. Stroud's just going to become Tua Part 2. And in the fact that he's going to look like a very good player to start out and then just get railed into the ground regardless of his good receivers. But that's a good move. We'll get into the Kinlaw one, probably on the defensive one, which is next.
Yeah.
I still think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy. $45 million is crazy for Kinlaw.
Well, I
But the
think by
Bears-
far the most exciting one's Metcalf.
Metcalf, I would have to agree. I think that's the biggest splash move I have seen as a Steeler since Minkah Fitzpatrick in 2019. And the reason I wore the jersey, obviously.
Yeah.
And, you know, DK is a guy I remember coming out of Ole Miss. And I remember listening to him cry on the phone with Pete Carroll when he got drafted. And I automatically just looked at him and I went, you know, I'm really sad. I traded for him in Madden the next day. And I was really sad that he didn't become a Steeler. Like, DK Metcalf is a guy that just loves the game. I love aggressive players. I love guys that also just go up and get the ball. We're going to get him in his prime years too. This contract ends when he's about to be 32. $30 million a year, or 33, is a lot, but it's not fully guaranteed, and a restructure is always possible. But I think for a second-round pick, you're not going to get a player like DK Metcalf in the second round this year. Not at pick 57, like we traded. And yeah.
I agree. I think you guys lucked out. I'm excited to see what he does there. I think he and Pickens will complement each other in a lot of ways.
Pickens might get traded, apparently.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
To who?
I don't know. Pickens is apparently going to ask for $30 million a year,
That's crazy.
which is not happening.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I will see what happens with that. I think it'll be cool for him to get to play with Russ, assuming that happens. I just think it's very interesting. I know that if I was in the AFC North, other than the Bengals, I would definitely be a little scared. If you guys just saw the video I sent you of Cam Taylor-Britt locking down DK multiple times.
One game.
I'm not worried, but I don't know. I definitely think that it shakes things up in the AFC North.
Then
You know, I may just be a casual, but I don't remember this active of an off season in a long time.
No, yeah, this has been crazy to start. The first day, I remember last year, this will be quick. I remember last year, there was maybe like 7 or 8 posts day one from anybody. Like, the tampering period so far has just been insane. And I think it has to do with the money going up for the salary cap again, too.
Yeah.
It
I
went
feel
up, what,
teams
$4
are just
million?
really aggressive. Huh?
How much did it go up? $4 million or more?
I swear, like, more.
I
But
thought it was 275, went up to 279, but maybe I'm wrong.
I swear it went up more. But that, and also a lot of guys were on 1-year contracts last year.
Yeah. Well, speaking of
Crazy.
salary cap,
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs cleared $16 million.
Yes, they did, because they needed to bring back Nick Bolton, and they needed to choose that, and Chris Jones is asking for an extension. And
Now-
Marquise Brown.
Now,
It's tough.
who's going to be covering Mahomes' blind side now?
Noah Gray, Travis Kelce on the end.
The Moore, the guy they just brought in from the Niners,
Oh.
Jalen Moore.
That too.
They give him $20 million a year. Biggest. It's either him or Kinlaw who's the biggest overpay I've seen so far. And
Well,
the Bears, though, Bears are making moves. They really brought in some good defensive and offensive linemen here, in the fact that Joe Thuney I still think is one of the best guards in football, and Gabe Jackson, right, Nate?
Jonah Jackson.
Jonah Jackson. Sorry, Jonah. Jonah Jackson is also pretty like solid. He's like a B minus type of offensive lineman, which is a lot better than the Fs they had in the interior last year. And they just also signed the Falcons center too,
Yeah.
which also they're really trying to protect Caleb, and even though I still think they're going to finish last in that division unless the Vikings fall apart. They're really trying to protect Caleb, and I respect that. Good 9-8 team. 9-8 team. I could see them barely going over 500. But I don't know. And
Who did
a bunch of other stuff happened. Yeah,
who did the Jags get for Kirk?
bro.
7th.
7th, yeah.
What was it?
7th and the contract.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
Which
they also got
I
rid
think
of-
it's a fair signing or trade. It's Texans get a young guy after missing 3 wide receivers last year.
He's
Robert Woods
28
on his
now?
way out.
28.
Yeah, that's younger than Robert Woods, and who else they have? Isn't
This is
Nico Collins like 30 almost?
No, bro. He's 25. 25, 26.
Didn't didn't they pick up Hunter Long too? The Jags.
Sounds right. I'm looking it up.
To replace
They
Luke
also Jags. I'm really interested by what the Jags are doing right now, since they also got rid of Evan Ingram. Their only receiver that
Hunter
I
Long.
already know on that team is Brian Thomas Jr. So I think they're going after a receiver.
Well, they just picked up 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
3. Oh no, sorry, 2. I'm looking at last contract.
Well,
My bad.
Brenton Strange is definitely. I feel like he's going to fill
He's
it.
still.
And you got and they got De'Ami Brown.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, he's okay. He's okay.
Yeah. What are we thinking about, the outlook this year on Trevor Lawrence?
A worse version of Herbert.
Yeah, and Herbert's a disappointment, as we got into last episode.
Herbert is ranked over Goff for me.
I agree. Sure. You put Justin Herbert on that Lions team. That Lions team's already won 2 Super Bowls. That's my hot take for the day.
You think he carries that defense?
Oh, I don't think it matters.
I think it does.
I don't think it matters.
Would you put Herbert above Stafford?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Herbert can move, bro. Herbert can move. Herbert has almost 100-yard rushing games.
2009, 2010 Stafford was Justin Herbert.
Okay.
It's just an
Yeah.
age thing now.
Yeah, I agree. So
Okay,
great.
Lawrence player comp?
Lawrence?
Josh Johnson.
God.
I don't know about
crazy.
that. I don't
He's
know
not
about
that
that.
bad.
Josh Johnson, no, you guys
Josh
hating on
Johnson
Josh Johnson.
in
He's a
the
smart,
NFC
he's a
Josh
smart
Johnson
cookie.
is? Do you know who Josh Johnson is?
I
Well,
do not. I recognize the name.
He was
4th string on the Niners.
Emergency QB.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was the guy that
Player
he
comp
came in-
for Trevor
Uh-oh.
Lawrence is Josh Johnson, NFC Championship. After
Yeah.
Purdy snapped his elbow.
I was thinking for Trevor Lawrence, who's just a quarterback that starts hot and then falls off.
Kirk Cousins.
That's honestly a pretty good one.
That's all right. I'm happy with that.
I'm cool with that.
That's good because I got 5 minutes, so we should crank through these.
Okay. So some of the defensive boosts are interesting for me. It's very interesting. A lot of overpays. Moulton Williams to the Pats. It's interesting for me. Trayvon Moehrig going to the Panthers. Also interesting. Paulson Adebo got a bag. Cam Bynum got a bag. I'm assuming that's DJ Reed in the corner. Yeah, DJ Reed was the steal of free agency so far, going to the Lions at $16 million a year. He was the best corner on the Jets last year, not Sauce Gardner. Josh Sweat is either going to be decent again for the Cardinals as he was last year, or
They need
I
the
think
help.
he's gonna-
Yeah.
or I think he's going to be terrible because teams can just double team him. And Nichols, the other Jets guy on the bottom left, he got re-signed last minute.
That's
And-
Kinlaw.
Oh, that's Kinlaw? Bro,
That's
he wears
Kinlaw.
54?
He wears
Oh my
54.
God. I feel stupid. Well, Kinlaw,
No, you're
biggest
kidding.
overpaying free agency. 45
I will
million
say,
for a
What
guy
what are
that
we
has
thinking of
no
the
shit.
Myles Garrett signing?
I'm happy. I'm very, very happy because I love when teams waste their money.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Why do you think it's a waste?
Why do I think it's a waste? Because they're not in the position to be successful with a player like that, especially at his age.
yeah.
Well,
Like-
he's getting okay.
All they did was convert Deshaun's contract into Garrett's contract. That was all they did
Yeah.
because they did a restructure with Watson.
He's getting the biggest contract in the history of the
NFL
game
history.
outside the QB
Not
position.
quarterback. Yeah.
And I gotta say, I respect the guy because he's kind of going the Steph Curry route of just sticking with the team. But
He
if
did
I,
not want to stick with the team.
He did, but he didn't though. Yeah.
but if I'm, Myles Garrett's therapist, I'm telling him he's got to leave. Like he's got to get out, dude.
He told himself he wanted to leave. He did a whole Instagram post and
Manager
everything.
trade.
Yeah.
Manager trade.
He got hacked.
Yeah.
I
Garrett's
don't know,
always
dude.
been
But like,
dumb.
I'm
Garrett's
not,
always-
I'm not bashing these players at all. But I'm saying Myles Garrett has to be more like KD or LeBron when he sees the writing on the wall in Cleveland and he takes his talents to South Beach. He's got to move.
I totally think he's gonna join the Chiefs. Like that's just me. I totally think at one point he's just gonna join the Chiefs.
I feel like this season he's going to demand a trade because the Brown season's just going to go to complete waste, and he'll be like, well, I want to be on an AFC team. Okay, which team will take on the contract? Oh, it's the one with the most space and the most success. Got it.
How long do DNs last? Like how many years? He's like what,
It
28 years?
depends.
It
It
depends,
really
but
depends.
he could go into
There's-
his late 30s if he really wanted to, knowing
It
him.
really depends. Like Calais Campbell,
Mm.
40. Bruce Smith, record holder for most sacks ever, played until he was 39. He was a D-end. Did D-ends play forever? Cam Hayward, he's more of a DC.
He might have another 10.
Like, dude, yeah, he can definitely play
does.
for another 10. And especially since Myles Garrett is also just a freak of nature and has never really had that much injury problems. Like, his most missed time was for hitting Mason Rudolph over the head. And Goat, that was a very funny game.
Very valid.
That was a very funny game. And very valid, yeah. I don't know. He's making more than $15 million a year than TJ Watt. Like, you're telling me that he deserves $15 million more than TJ
He's got the
Watt?
deep voice to prove it.
Okay.
I want to be a little sensitive to time here. Is there anything else we want to cover on the defensive boosts?
They're okay so far.
I will say Kinlaw was the 39th ranked defensive interior lineman
Like,
in
what are
pass
the
rush.
Commanders doing? I mean,
They got a pass rusher.
Dan
They got a
Quinn,
rush
39th, and you give him top 20 money?
out of 219.
Okay, how many even qualified for that? Like, so
219.
that's sad. That's sad. Like, okay, cool. Just keep Jonathan Allen then.
All right, he's in the
Jonathan
top 20%. And he's getting like a top 10% contract.
They got the money.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But, well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to say thank you for joining in. Thank you, Dimitri, for coming on the show.
Glad to
Always
be here.
appreciate you, bud. And like the dub always says, one good dub take is all it takes. And that is a good night, guys. You guys have a good night.
W.
I bet you do.
You know what's funny about LeBron is like he's like 6'9", jacked, arguably the best basketball player ever.
Dude, he could
And
grade
he's just like
anybody.
so insecure. Like he's always lying. He's always
Yeah,
just
bro, he
trying
always
to fit
says he
in.
reads
It's
when he
like,
doesn't.
dude,
He doesn't read.
Oh, doesn't know the lyrics. reads books upside down.
Yep.
Um,
And only the
Says
first
he's a T
page.
Grizzly fan.
only first page, yeah.
The first page. La introduction. La preface.
Le Diddler.
To be
Oh.
seen. And with that, are we calling it?
I think we're calling.
Oh,
Okay,
I-
Jordan, as like a fellow semi-baseball guy, right? Is
Yes.
this a fair player comp? Myles Garrett and Mike Trout.
I'd say
Great
yeah.
players,
Great
collected their
player.
bags, not much to show for it team-wise.
Not much to show for it, and also they had one good postseason run.
Right,
That was like
right. And I think I think the Browns
like the Baker.
are the most in the Big Four college or in the Big Four sports in America.
I either say Browns or Jags. Browns,
Dude,
Jags. or
Dude,
both
and
pretty bad.
I'm saying this knowing this is a crazy stat that the Kansas City Royals didn't
They're
make
also
the
bad.
playoffs for 30 years.
Dude, the Boston Red Sox. Alexa, shut up. Well, guys, we brought this up in our last video. Thanks
Oh. This is getting cut. This is getting cut.
to Trojan Condoms is also our next sponsor.
Oh, the pleasure pack.
The Pleasure Pack.
You always struck me as more of a bear skin guy,
I do rock some bear skin.
or like a ribbed bad boy. You know what I mean?
Well, these honestly, these ones are very G. They have twisted, intense, warming, and also her pleasure.
Well,
Very
I'm
cute products
getting
by
I'm getting excited for tonight, Jordan.
Michael Penix, thank you again for the shout out. Trojan Condoms, there we go. And
Go
Yeah.
Trojans.
go Trojans. Yep, go USC.